Hi, I'm Dustin Abbott, and I'm here today to do the quick review for those of you that are too impatient to watch the longer review. If you have a little time, however, I recommend that you take a look at my full and complete review of this lens because it's really worth spending a little time with. But in case you don't have that kind of time, let's jump in very quickly and give you the rundown on Tamron's newest lens. First thing to note is that this lens once again has a very nice build to it that follows after the current design language for Tamron's new SP or Super Performance Prime lens. That includes a lightweight metal body that is fully weather sealed, including gasket at the rear mount, internal seals near the focus ring and the switches, and then a flooring coating along the front. And so as a result, it brings a little bit more to the table than what most of the competitors do in this regard. And so a very nice build with nothing to complain about in the functionality. The focus ring moves nicely should you need to manual focus, and all is well there. As far as the autofocus itself, this lens uses Tamron's USD or ultrasonic drive focus motor system, and the focus speed is improved over that of the 45 or 35 millimeter lenses. And part of that is because it has a shorter focus throw compared to those lenses. This lens doesn't have the exceptional maximum magnification figure that the 35 or 45 millimeter VC lenses do, but then again, no 85 millimeter lens does. This still does have a class-leading 0.14 times magnification. During my review, I found the autofocus to be very accurate with this lens, and I was very pleased with my overall focus consistency, whether I was shooting portraits or even while trying to test this lens, doing some AF servo burst rate, trying to track some action, and overall I was pleased with the results all around. The image quality from the lens is really quite delightful. It is right up amongst the class leaders in resolution, and while it doesn't have the as wide a maximum aperture, not f1.2 or f1.4. The maximum aperture here is f1.8, but at f1.8 the lens is essentially perfectly sharp, and that sharpness is very, very even, more so than what most lenses that I have seen, in that it is very consistent from both the center out towards the edges of the frame and even towards the extreme edges. It retains a very nice consistency of sharpness, and stopping down to f2 brings a little bit of gain, and so on and so forth. But I have found that even shooting landscapes at f1.8 shows a great amount of detail, and so really you can treat aperture on this lens more for depth of field than for the need to increase sharpness. And the image quality strikes a really nice balance between having great resolution but also having a really nice soft rendering to out of focus areas. And I found that it has a lot of the character of some of my favorite vintage lenses, legacy glass, while having the modern sharpness and lack of chromatic aberration that I really value as well. And so in some ways it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Tamron should be applauded here for producing a lens that manages to combine great sharpness without losing the soul of the lens. And so I'm really enjoying shooting it in that regard. This lens, while it's more expensive than either the Canon or the Nikon f1.8 variants, it really shouldn't be compared to them. It's in a whole other class, both optically and then also in the overall build and mechanical operation of the lens. It really is more competitive with the wider aperture lenses and undercuts them by a fair price margin. I feel that this lens is representing a strong value at its price point in the US of $749, and even the Sigma 85mm f1.4 it manages to undercut by $220. And so it's a strong value for a lens that has a professional grade build and certainly close to being a class leader when it comes to the overall resolution results. I'm very impressed with this lens. I have found very little to criticize overall and a whole lot to praise. I'm Dustin Abbott, and if you have the time, why don't you take a look down below and you'll see a linkage to my full written review that has a lot of more image samples and might help you if you want to dive into this lens a little bit more. Thanks for watching today, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Have a great day.